Last month, YouTube hit me with a strike, and that's why I didn't post for like 20-ish days. So I went to go and watch the 30-minute Pokemon video that I got struck for to see what could I have possibly done to deserve a strike. Obviously, I didn't say or do anything bad, because what's the most heinous thing I could possibly say in a Pokemon video? I want to bend Lopunny over a table and then fucking... Anyway, since I couldn't find a legitimate reason, I went to YouTube chat support to see if I could gain some insight on what I did wrong. If they hired a feral monkey to bang his forehead against the keyboard in response to all my questions, that would have been better help to me than what them niggas gave me. I asked the dude on chat, hey, what did I do to deserve a strike? What did I say wrong? This nigga made me wait 20 minutes just to effectively tell me, you have a YouTube strike. Nigga, I know that. I'm trying to find the reason why. Anyway, here are the thoughts in my brain. It's wild to me that a man would rather hear a song about a man getting his dick sucked than a woman getting her pussy stuffed. These also are the same men who can't fuck without putting on a Drake song in the background. Me personally, I can't sit there and fuck with a nigga deep ass voice in the background talking about how he wanna fuck me. In fact, I'll be wanting to chuck my phone across the entire room to shatter it into a million pieces every single time I hear a nigga moaning in porn. So I sure as hell don't wanna hear no 21 while I'm blowing her back out. What I do need to hear while I'm balls deep in my girl and she moaning is Kali Uchis in the background harmonizing with her. Actually, let's go back to that thing of niggas bumping Drake while having sex. I refuse to believe that you are a straight man busting a nut while Drake or The Weeknd is singing, because you have to be secretly bi or just sexist. I don't know, whichever the one you want to choose. You can flip a coin too, but it's one of them. Speaking of sexual things, one of the more confusing things in porn comments, besides people using their full government names, is the people who censor their comments. I feel like I need to know what that person's background is so I can understand why they chose to draw the moral line there. Like, who are you scared of that you're censoring your comments like this? God? God can already see you type in ugly bastard seduces lolicon with tentacles in the search bar. So trying to figure out a way to censor, damn, that slut is so fucking hot, is the least of your worries. You are going to the depths of hell with your search history. Sometimes I'll be driving around in my parents' car and I'll be thinking, why the fuck am I wearing a seatbelt? Because realistically, if I crash this fucking car and I don't die, they gonna kill me. So I might as well just not wear a seatbelt and take my chances with God. Do not do this, by the way. This is gonna be the weirdest comparison I've ever made in any video, but just bear with me. Amy Schumer is the comedic equivalent of gay and trans porn, and it has nothing to do with the content. It's because you ask niggas everywhere and they will tell you, I don't watch that shit. But at the same time, them shits are one of the most watched and searched things on all these porn websites. So let's go back to Amy Schumer. I have not met a soul that has admitted to watching her, but somehow she's allowed to go to these award ceremonies and make the worst jokes imaginable because she's still relevant. So somebody is clearly lying. But here's the thing, right? You can watch whatever porn you want, I don't care. But the moment that you start watching Amy Schumer and hide that shit from me, you have to expose yourself so I can cease contact with you at once. Also, if you've been enjoying me talking about porn related things in this video, please subscribe and like this video. If you do, I will Eiffel Tower a bitch with Johnny Sins. Hold on, if heat rises and gas rises, my ceiling must smell like shit the way I be farting. Like, I eat beans way too frequently to a point where if Yao Ming or Shaq walk into my room, they just keel over and die. So in my family, right, I'm kind of known as the scaredy cat, because if somebody walks up behind me and taps me on my shoulder to get my attention, I will flinch hard as fuck and probably punch them in the stomach. And I accept this part of me. But see, when I tell my family that they are also scaredy cats, they look at me confused, which is wild because if I come home with a shirt of a character that kind of looks like a demon, or if I start playing Doom Eternal and they walk into the room, them telling me that I need to have an exorcism or that I need to go to church is somehow not considered being scared. Matter of fact, somebody in my house who I will not name is too scared to be in the dark by themselves. We always talk about women being squirters or whatever, but something that we do need to acknowledge is that men can also do that too. I remember a nigga in high school was talking about how he nutted so hard he hit the ceiling with cum. He hit the ceiling a white Nickelodeon logo. Now let me ask, what kind of cum classification is that? Because that's not how I'm busting nuts, and y'all don't need to know how I'm busting nuts. But that nigga was nutting like he was in a hentai or something. Now, he could have been lying, but when one of my close friends told me that he nutted into his mouth by accident while laying flat on his back, I knew I had to create the cum categories. So I think if we really had to create a classification, it would be the oozers, the squirters, and the shooters. And that's what that nigga in high school was. He was a fucking shooter. He had a registered firearm in his pants. But since after high school, we found out that that nigga had a chode. Yeah, he had this instead. Y'all know how that woman claimed that it was insane how a mirror could reflect something it had no way of seeing, and everyone clowned her for it? So why is this grown man, who is probably in his mid-20s, broadcasting to hundreds of people that he essentially doesn't understand how air affects objects? And not one person has made a post about this. Also, listen to how he says this.
You know what? One time I made it twist like a top, bro. I'm gonna try that shit.
Like, he really think he's him. He thinks he's the Avatar. Next thing you know, he gonna be waving his hand over a candle thinking that he could firebend. And look, I kinda understand, cause sometimes I'll enter the shower and I be letting water shoot off my fingers, thinking I'm a waterbender, thinking I'm special. Special ed probably, but that's not the point here. And some of y'all may be thinking that this is a joke, until you take a look at his TikTok page and see that it is dedicated to this bullshit. Maybe he just knows something that I don't. Okay, bye.